guys, it's Nana Foxy Mama 365. Have you subscribed? Please be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We're doing the Real Housewives of Atlanta. No, not Atlanta, Potomac. This is the final one for season 5, so the reunion part 3. There's so much. It was an hour 30 minutes. There's so much to unpack in this. Now I totally get why it's an hour 13, because initially I was like, I mean, we're doing 3 parts first of all, you know, but now I get why it was an hour 30 minutes. Probably could have gone into 4 hours, but fair enough. I think they probably could have given us more in episode 2, in the second part of the reunion. And yeah, I just think the second part really didn't give us that much, coming from where the first one left off. So yeah. Anyways, let's go right in, because there's so much to unpack. I'm going to start with Chris Samuel. Pastor Jamal, that is, Bryant, had said, oh, we should stay tuned to see how his wife Gizelle gets attacked. And I'm sure his congregation is definitely going to be like, huh? Where was the attack? Nah, BS. You know, he didn't attack. If anything, he actually apologized, or he tried to apologize for what he said online when he was live with Monique, in which he said pretty much, he called the ladies, he called them, he used some choice words. He said that he wished he was kind of like, he could become a lady and he could, you know, harm them pretty much. You know, that he called them some dirty tricks, that's what it was, and stomped the shit out of them, and he could wish he could turn into Bruce Jenner, you know, that they're lucky that he's a man and everything and so on. Of course, Monique chimed in and said, oh, and I thought that was kind of unfair for Bravo to play that, even though it had been said, but because it wasn't said during the show, I was wondering why Andy thought the need to say it. Being that the plot from Candice and Robyn, which is Candice's live, in which Candice was saying that, oh, there was a plot between herself, even though she said she wasn't really in support of it, but Robyn and Gizelle and a few other people were plotting, you know. So if it's good for the goose, it's probably good for the gander. It would also have been nice if Bravo had also shown that clip. Anyway, Monique has taken it upon herself to put it up. Yeah, because pretty much the ladies have been trying to say, oh, they didn't bring it up. Gizelle is saying she didn't bring it up but they talked about it as a plot line, as a storyline. So fair enough, it didn't come up because Bravo edited that part of it out. However, the bit of Monique sleeping or being way too close with her trainer did come up. So yeah, so it was said. So it did happen. You know, so Gizelle and Robyn trying to wriggle their way out by saying, oh, they were attacked. How can a man be, you know, instigating violence against women? BS. So I totally get where Chris was coming from. Chris came in all hot and was saying, did any of the ladies, you know, of course you saw them being mute. Giselle trying to run and say, oh, she was being attacked by a man and all of that. You know, if anything, you should have been telling Jamal to be in here, you know, ready to attack ready to attack Chris if Chris, you know, like, it's just so much, you know. But anyways, let's go right to the beginning. So Andy, of course, I feel again Andy is still going after Monique and asking Monique questions after questions, and I'm like, but you didn't even ask or try to hold Candice accountable. I mean, I know you talked about her life being better if she stopped tweeting, but you didn't say in any way how Candice was also culpable. I mean, I know you expect ladies to use their words, but your words too are weapons. I just wish you had gone at both of them, you know, and asked Candice, why did you, you know, put your hand in her face? Why did you have your, you know, why were you shouting good night, you know, and why? And you also didn't show the footage. I said that before. Bravo also didn't show the footage in which Candice touched Monique, you know, where she reached out and grabbed Monique, you know, but they did show when Gizelle touched Monique, and I was like, that is kind of two-faced. I just felt Bravo's editing here was whack. It wasn't fair to Monique. They did everything, you know, to try to make Monique the to make her the bad egg in this whole situation, and I thought it was a bit unfair. Moving on, Monique has gotten her renewal. As what allegedly, it's been alleged. I think she said on her this and that she's going to be on for the next season, season 6. Candice at this point is saying she might leave the show because she's always said, oh, threatened that if Monique comes back, she's not going to, film with her and all of that. And I'm like, yeah. Candice, you can go. I really don't. Quite frankly, I don't even know why Robyn is even still on the show, because pretty much the fact that the only thing is Robyn is going to be getting married, so yeah, so Robyn might stay. But Candice, I mean, yeah, I really don't care if Candice doesn't return. That's just my feeling. I don't care if Candice doesn't return. So Andy is asking a lot of questions. Candice, of course, has just walked off and she's being consoled by Chris, and Chris is consoling her and telling her, what, are you not going to live your life again because of Monique and all of that? I get that, which is kind of good. But they're grown women, and so of course, because they get to now talking about the pressing charges, aka why, how far, was it too far for Candice to, press charges, and the ladies are saying, oh, Robyn, that is, that she didn't think Monique was going to go that far, but they were actually thinking that maybe they might do community service, that might probably be a good thing, but not, for her to go to jail, and at this point, Candice comes back in. And the ladies didn't film with, like I've said before, I didn't understand why the ladies refused to film with Monique. If they said they were going to stay out of the fight and they were going to be neutral, then they should just have let the ladies sort it out. But you didn't give the ladies an opportunity to actually come together or ever be together or even see Monique change or go talk with her. Like even Wendy, that was the newbie, could take a stand and say she wasn't going to film with. I thought that was too much. I just felt, but you didn't even get to know who Monique was. You never filmed once with her, so for you guys to just say you're not going to film with her, it was just kind of a way for you guys to try and get Monique and off the show and duck her check. Pretty much that's what it was. Anyways, who leaked the story? Monique is saying, well, she knows who leaked the story, but it wasn't her, but some family member or someone from the blog or something like that leaked the story. The narrative is pretty much still that Candice poured the glass of wine, and Candice is like, yeah, but you let that narrative, go on, and that's why Candice is upset. But Candice, the thing is, why are you still crying? Like, it was a fight. You had asked to be dragged, and now you got drugged, and now you're crying, and you're like, oh, you're so upset. I don't know why Andy's going at all these questions at Monique, So, of course, Candice wants to know why she's going to be the evil villain for trying to take Monique away from her kids if she went to jail. But Monique is not the evil, did not think about it when she was fighting. And that's true. That's a fair enough point, because Monique should have thought about her kids. When like a lot of people feel like, oh, you can lay hands and do all kinds of rowdiness and get away with it because people are going to be like, okay, I'm not going to press charges. But, you never can tell when, it's going to just go awry. So that's a good question Candice asked, and I think it was up to Monique to have said, you know what, I don't need to be in this situation. I have way too much to lose. My kids are too young. I have a little baby, so I can't be playing the fool and all of that. Ashley and Candice, of course, once again, they get into it. They talk crap about the derbies. Which this is where Candice is trying to say, oh, Monique has been talking a lot of crap about you and your family, and she's just kind of doing you in. Andy wants to know what is the crap, and of course, Monique is like, girl, bye. You're just trying to make stories. At this point, what else do you have to say? Let's wrap this fight up because we're tired of it. Monique takes the opportunity to kind of like apologize for her part and her role in the fight. Candice is not going to accept it because it's been more than 365 days that this thing happened, and after that, there has been a drag queen song. Monique is saying, well, that was her way of releasing. I don't know, I just feel, Monique, girl, we all know that drag queen song was just for you. You're laughing about it, and I totally get why Candice feels that your apology is whack. You're only apologizing just so you can get the viewers to be like, oh, she apologized. Nah, girl, bye. You should have kept that, okay? Because we know that the song that you brought out was meant to be like, yeah, I beat your ass, I warned you, you asked for it, you got it. So of course Candice was reading the whole song out, and I'm like, yes, Candice, girl, don't stop crying. You're traumatizing. If you are that traumatized, you should be so traumatized that you shouldn't be able to sing the song or even hear the song or listen to it and all of that. But you're able to come out here and tell us the lyrics and all of that. Girl, bye. Candice, your mouth got you into all of this, and it's unfortunate because both women should have just done better. Do better, ladies. Do better, okay? So Karen's loyalty and Karen feeling that she is the one that's probably the most traumatized, or no, not the most traumatized, but yeah, that she went through a hard period through with all of this. And Candice kind of understand why Karen feels that way, that she was the one whose head got dragged, whose wig was almost shifted, you know. And they're also trying to understand the whole wig shift party, or the wig launch party, why Karen kind of didn't tell the truth and lied. And she was like, yeah, she was pretty much caught. And I'm glad that at least she confessed that, yeah, indeed she lied about, you know, inviting Monique or not inviting Monique, because she did invite Monique and she told ladies she did not. And she's like, yeah, she was caught between the rock and the hard place, and it is what it is. You know, she's trying to slither her way out of that. So the ladies were just like, why would you leave your wig party? And she's like, yeah, she was done, okay? She was done. Karen and Candice ever become big good friends again? It will take a little while. Candice, of course, still feels that Karen really wasn't there for her. And she also wants to know why Karen went to the executives with a text that she had sent Karen off the show, in which she had called Karen some names, and she wanted herself, Candice, to be admonished for what she had said. And Karen is like, yes, girl, because you called me, you said I'm going to burn in hell. And she felt it was a threat. And she's like, no, she wasn't trying to threaten you. But yeah, girl, your words are very sharp. Why would you send me that kind of, you know? And Karen is trying to make out that, look, listen, in her contract, she feels that she was trying to help Candice deal with the situation, and she went to the executives to tell them that, look, you know what, this girl needs help because she's threatening me right now and I don't understand what is going on, you know. And of course she also mentions about the fact that Candice mentions the fact that Karen was also trying to say it was Gizelle and Robyn that had, you know, been fire, you know, steaming up the fire and all of that, and why was she trying to make them culpable for the whole thing. And Karen is like, girl, I don't really care about that, you know, that's not my situation. I care about you. And I can actually feel that Karen and Candice really do care for each other, you know. And it's just unfortunate because I think Candice is being a child, because you can't tell me how to be a good friend to you in that when there are two people that are, both of you are my friends, I'm not going to leave you or side that one, you know. And at no point has Candice even acknowledged the fact that Karen even was the one that told me to go legal and take the legal route, you know, which was not favorable to Monique. And everybody also asked that question, that how come Monique wasn't upset at Karen for doing that? And Monique, you see Monique being mature and saying, you know what, I get it, I don't agree with it, but I understand it. And I told her that, look, listen, girl, that was foul. Period. I wish Candice can also be like that and understand that, you know, Karen is caught between a rock and a hard place. True, it's not about her. However, she's just doing her best to support two friends. Moving on. You don't care about me. And I really hope Karen and Candice can come back. I feel that they will be able to get back, you know, good. So now the husbands are coming out. I was going to say something very important. Yeah, the husbands are coming out. So this is going back into, you know, Wayne playing. This is now kind of in between the break, and they're like, Andy is trying to, you know, like, oh, hi guys, and hi Ray and all of that. Hi Chris. And Chris is like, did you watch the last dance thing with, you know, with Jordan? Chris is like, boy, bye. Not today. Has anybody confessed about my child and talking mess about my kid? No, there's going to be some toad up mess up here today if nobody can confess and say, hey, or apologize for doing that, you know. So you can see Chris is upset and he's hyper. Oh yeah, before this, I remember Karen trying to tell the ladies that we need to stop tearing each other down, and it's sad, but it is what it is. But anyways, we now get back again to the men coming in. They introduce the men. They go around. Eddie's here, Ray's here. Unfortunately, one is not here. Jamal is not here. Yeah, so, and then both Chris's are here, you know. So it's kind of like, okay, what's going on? And I think at this point, Chris, Samuel that is, has kind of, you know, taken a seat back and is like, okay, you know what, let me just chill and watch. Hi guys. Eddie talks about his parents, hoping that they will watch this whole thing and things will change, but his parents are like, So it's kind of sad that, you know, you can have a child, raise a child, and at 30 something you can just throw the child away. I don't know. Ray and Karen, and just asking Ray how Karen is and what's going on, and Ray's like, you know what, I think I said too much. I came out too much, okay? And he says he loves her, but obviously he doesn't love her the way he loved her over 25 years ago, and it's understandable, but it's work. Marriage is work, you know, and after 25 years, I believe it will still be, you know, work. You know, and Ray now is being asked about, is he going to pay Karen her money back? And you see Ray shading the hell out of Karen. Ray is saying, you know what, girl, you had all those credit cards, you were getting a steep end, you were getting a good house and all of that. I ain't got it, okay? Which is kind of cool. So now Chris and Monique. Andy shows the clip about Chris slapping, saying he's going to slap the shit out of the women, and how, you know, he would change into the Bruce Jenner situation, and they're lucky, you know, he's not going to change, and, you know, that they're dirty tricks and all of that. And I think, like, again, I said earlier on, I thought it was kind of ridiculous for Bravo to show just this clip and not show why Chris Samuel was upset, which is the part of Candice coming online to say this, you know, say, oh, this was what they had talked about, the plot about saying Chris Samuel's child wasn't his child. Now, at this point, they say Gizelle actually has a bodyguard. Gizelle, you're so full of shit. You feel like you guys can't... You know, funny, I'm actually watching The Real Housewives of Potomac from season 1. And I'm looking at everything that Gizelle and Robyn... I used to really like Gizelle as a person. I think it got to season 4 because before I was like, you know what, girl... You're doing way too much. You're being way too mean, you know? And, you know, I still remember Gizelle wearing the t-shirt. And, you know, like, how far is too far? Like, a plot line, we all love a good plot line. I get it. However, you know, when do you go too far? When is it below the... You know, when is it too far? We've always said kids are off limits. You know, and of course, Gizelle is not owning up. Neither is Robyn. They're all trying to act like... They ain't saying nothing. However, Chris is like, you know what, you guys did that. You guys talked about my child. And Andy's like, we talked about this 2 hours ago for like a long... And Chris is like, no, it's not enough. Gizelle is trying to kind of act like, you know what, you have a man. And of course, at this point, Chris is kind of standing up. It becomes a little rowdy because at this point, Chris, Candice's husband, is now trying to say, but you guys were kind of supporting a blogger who talked about my kids. You know, and Monique is like, what are you talking about? And how does that, why is that my business? Like, and they're saying, no, but that really happened. At this point, Chris gets up and Giselle's like, yeah, he's getting up. Security! Security! So they're trying to get Chris to just sit back down. Chris is like, Gizelle, of course, is chiming in, violence against women. And I'm like, girl, you talk about someone's child and you don't think that there's going to be any kind of retaliation or he's not going to be upset. You know, I definitely do not support men getting into women's business at all, let alone men being violent towards women. No, that's a total, absolute no-no. Monique should fight that battle. However, Chris is trying to make them understand how a child's life can be harmed by this looking for a plot line just to impress other people. Because I know that if the tables were turned and you talked about Giselle's kids, you know, or talked about, you know, I know Gizelle will not even, it's just not even, it's not right. So kids are off limits. Kids are off limits. Period. There's just, and I wish Gizelle could just say, hey, you know what, we talked about it, but we didn't bring it on the show, but we did talk about it. And of course, Gizelle is now saying, Chris is asking Gizelle to speak and talk about it, and Gizelle said, is telling him, don't talk to me, I'm never going to talk to you, you know, and all of that. Girl, then of course Gizelle now goes into talking about how it was Monique who brought the storyline, in that she went to their house to film, and when she got there, this was the first time she was meeting the baby, seeing the beautiful, beautiful, handsome boy, Chase, and Chris was saying to her, he looks like the dad, right? She knows that he was kind of jabbing, poking at Gizelle, saying, oh, the kid might not be his. So at this point, Gizelle is saying, yeah, she's now talking to Robyn, and she's talking and saying, oh, why are they bringing it up? So she's thinking that maybe they are using it as part of their plot line. And I'm thinking, Gizelle, you sound right about stupid right now. You sound really stupid, because Why am I going to use a plot line of me cheating and having a child out of wedlock with my husband, and that is a plot line? No, girl, he was making a jab at you. Gizelle, just stop. We're not stupid. Like, it's just wrong. And I'd rather you owned it and say, hey, you know what? It was a bad thing for us to do. I'm squashing it. I would never, and I apologize for it, period. But instead, Gizelle is like, nope. She's trying to take the high road and all of that. Chris Samuel is like, you know what? He's out. He's not even doing it. But, and of course, Andy at this point, you see Andy is really trying to diffuse the situation because he knows that this is really, he's trying to get Chris to just sit and, you know, keep it pushing. Hacks and taxes. Robyn and Wayne won. Congratulations I ordered to Robyn and Wayne, which is kind of cool. So they're talking about Robyn eventually getting the proposal, and they were all thinking, was this going to happen? Because for 5 seasons we've seen Robyn, you know, go back and forth with this man, sleeping on the same bed with him, raising their kids together, but they're not really together. One having affairs and one be like, but they're still like. I mean, I remember Robyn even having to be asked to do an assignment to go on a date with other men, and she couldn't do it because she's still in love with one. But I don't think she couldn't do it because she was still in love with one. I think she couldn't do it because she's like, she was probably scared of what one would say, or what if he would now like totally be like, yeah, this is now my time to step out. So I'm happy for them. Congratulations, and the ring is beautiful. So woohoo! Congratulations, the hat and taxes. Karen is like, yes, girl, remember how you tried to shade me in season 3 about my tax and all that happening? Yeah, now you can't say you didn't know about your taxes, but you see how it's possible that you couldn't have known. Karen couldn't have known. And of course, Robyn is trying to say, girl, I wasn't trying to shade you. I'm just trying to say that that how is it that you didn't know that Ray was going through all of that tax evasion or all that tax situation, and you said you didn't know. And Robyn is saying, and Karen's like, girl, bye. Now you know how it's possible that you were not also paying your tax, okay? So of course they go into the hat situation, and Karen not having pictures, and Karen is like, girl, you also took out the other lady's pictures, and she's like, no, the pictures are there, but they're somewhere. Robyn, I'm happy for you. Your hats look amazing. I'll probably invest and get one. We'll see. Only because you have the lining. So they talked about that, which is kind of good. And she says she's doing well with the hats. So good for her, you know. And at this point, they get to asking. So of course they ask about Michael saying he knew something and one would never propose. So they show us that little clip. Michael talking and saying, yeah, one will never do it. So they're asking Ashley how come, why he said that. And she's like, well, pretty much what Michael felt, that because he knew one, but he felt like he actually knew something else. But he's like, no, the way one had always talked and how he had always been comfortable being, you know, eating his cake and having it, pretty much that's what it was. So of course they get to asking Chris, yeah, so what do you think? And Chris is like, yeah, congratulations and all of that, I'm happy for you, but you know what, I really don't give a shit about this whole situation. You know, he detects that there's been a whole lot of mess and people are not really owning up to their mess, and now Andy is trying to move on. Meanwhile, his child is going to look at this in 15 years and be like, what the hell is going on? Why, you know, and women plotting about his son, and now they're lying and nobody wants to own up to anything. Ooh. So Andy's like, oh, we're going back to this. Yeah. Chris is like, you know what? I don't even really care, because you know what? I'm going to leave this whole situation right now, because you know what? You all are, so Chris leaves pretty much because he says, you know what? You all are playing chess, but guess what? I'm playing checkers. Ooh. This is way too much. What is he talking about? So Chris bounces to go get some water or whatever it is, you know. And Monique is saying, yes, you know what? Because you guys need to just stop talking about people's children. Like, we've talked, like, you guys won't like it if the tables were turned. Actually, you're a mother now, so you get it now, you know. So why do you guys keep trying to do it, you know? It's one thing to talk about someone creeping around or sleeping around or something like that, but to talk about a child, nah. So because they get to asking Karen about one being drunk, and what Karen's like, you know what, we've turned each other down way too much. I ain't saying nothing. I spoke to Ray about it and I've had my Jesus moment. I ain't saying nothing, okay? So she just says, you know what, you guys just keep Ray out of, you know, just keep Ray's name, because you guys have talked, and I agree with Karen, keep Ray's name out of your mouth, because you guys have talked about Ray. She's sleeping with Karen, and Ray is so much older than you guys. Like, you know, Gizelle and all of the mess that she talks and all of that, you know, like, for this plot line, let it be about you guys, okay? Find something else to plot about, okay? So Karen is not having it, and of course they get talking about Michael going to Vegas with Juan. Michael was talking about in the whole party situation and how he was going to go to Vegas and yeah, they're going to go party and it's going to be just both of them. Robyn ain't having that. Good luck. Michael and Ashley situation. Chris thinking Michael. So after they get to asking that what really is why, you know, this whole thing with Michael, why Chris and Michael being shocked, what really was it? And Chris is trying, this is at this point, this is Chris, Candice's husband, and he's saying, you know what, Michael has been very disrespectful to a lot of women and I'm not going to have it. So he says, look, you know what, let the women deal with their situation and we as men will deal, and we'll pick, it's a phone call away, pick up the phone and say, hey, I don't like how this happened. And he talked about Monique and talking, doing the same with the other Chris, you know, picking up the phone and saying, hey, let's just, you know, let's deal with it as men and leave the women to do women thing. And I totally appreciate that. So Ashley kind of saying, well, you know what, that's because you guys say a lot of stuff about my husband. And of course, once more, Candice cannot help herself and she starts going in on Michael and saying Michael is a creep and this and that. And I'm like, girl, you just got your ass beat. Why? Like, it's almost like Candice really hasn't learned her lesson. Anyways. Well, Ashley says, well, you guys need to stop talking about my husband and he's taking a lot and he's having to defend himself. But unfortunately, he ain't here to defend himself tonight, okay? So stop talking about my man and I'm going to, you know. So anyways, the men are going to try to keep it above board and let things be amongst them. Ray and Karen. Ray says they're going to be renewing their 25th year wedding anniversary. Woo woo. Karen is like, what? I don't think she expected it, so she's very excited and very happy. You know, so they're going to be doing that. So she just wants to know when Robyn is going to be doing her so they don't clash. So it's kind of nice and cool. So Karen gets up and gives Ray a big hug and she's like, yeah, they've been through a lot and she's happy that, you know, they are at this point. And at this point, Chris Samuel chimes in and says, you know what? I also want to clap for my wife too. And he starts to tear up and say, look, like this thing that was brought up, Monique has been doing this and all of that, but she's done it to protect her child, and he's taken a lot of strength from Monique and how brave and how strong Monique has been through all of it, and he's hugging and woo! You go, Chris. I kind of love this moment. You know, I'm happy to see Chris. This is what a marriage really is about. You know, when you guys go through a struggle and it makes you guys closer and more in love, you know, you see each other. I kind of loved this moment for Monique and her husband, Chris. Of course, Gizelle is having to chime in. Oh, it's just fake tears. Oh. And Gizelle, girl, this is the reason why you still don't have a man, because you are so bitter. And I'm happy at what Chris said. Chris says, you know what, Gizelle and Robyn, I think he talked to both of them. He's like, you know what, I forgive you guys. Even though you guys didn't ask for my forgiveness. But I forgive you guys because you know what, you guys are bitter and you guys are hurt. And hurt people hurt other people. Go seek help. I release you. That moment was so good. I totally loved it. And at this point, Chris is like, deuces, I'm out. Chris, out. I totally loved it, you know, because I'm like, yeah. And this is the reason why people do not like Gizelle. Like when the Real Housewives of Potomac started, I really liked Gizelle. Robyn, not too much, because I really didn't like. But Gizelle, I liked. But as the seasons went on, I kept seeing her nasty side, you know, and I'm like, no, this is not right. Anyways, we see Chris, the two Chris's at the back, and they're like shaking it and hugging it out, and they're like, you know what, guys, you know, well, guys, at the end of the day, the women might not ever get back cool, but that's fine. But we will be fine, you know. And I'm happy about this, and I'm glad that Bravo actually showed this, that the men are good, you know. In closing, Jamal, the conversation that Jamal is going to be having with, or Gizelle is going to be having with Jamal. And of course, Gizelle is like, she's already talked to him and everything. She's kind of giving him. And I believe that was the conversation that she probably had with him that led to Jamal coming out and saying, oh, Chris Samuel attacked his wife, which was not true. He only said to her, I apologize for saying that you guys are tricks and all of that. and saying that I will beat you guys or hit you guys and all of that. That was wrong. He also said you guys just need help, that you guys are hurt people, but he forgives you and he was releasing you guys, okay? He didn't attack them. There was no need for security. There was no need for the bouncers to come in. So Gizelle, bye, okay? At the end of the day, your man Jamal has not held you down. He has not been there for you. And now, as we're closing, we get to slithering right away. Yeah, so they get to ask the ladies how the season was before we slither away. They get to asking the ladies how the season was and all of that. Jamal, when Gizelle speaks with Jamal, what's that going to be like? And she's like, oh, she already had a conversation with him. And she says that, yeah, she's already kind of fed him into what's going to happen. And of course, she said, oh, she told him from what we heard later on that, oh, Chris Samuel attacked her, and that didn't happen. Gizelle, that didn't happen. You were not attacked. Security didn't need to be called in, even though you had security there. They didn't need to be. If anything, what Chris Samuel did was apologize to you and Robyn for calling you guys dirty tricks, and also for threatening you guys and threatening, violence, which is totally unacceptable. But he didn't in any way attack or, come near you. If anything, he just stood up and spoke with Chris, the other Chris, Candice's husband, and they were trying to make a point, and that was pretty much it. But he did say, yeah, he's going to be praying, he's going to be forgiving you guys, even though you guys didn't ask for it. He's forgiving you guys, and he's releasing you guys, and good luck to you people, that you guys are hurt people, and you guys need to go seek help. And I totally agree. Because I'm thinking, in season 1, 2, 3, I really did like Gizelle when she came in. She's a very beautiful lady and all of that, but she became, along the line, not finding love and all of this Jamal situation. I think it's really caused her to be really deeply hurt. Because I can't even remember the last time Gizelle has this beautiful laugh. And I can't remember the last time I actually even heard that laugh on the show. In that she's just faking it. She really needs to probably go sit down with therapy. Probably even get off the show for a little while. Give yourself a year, a break, to strategize, think about your business. Focus about something else, and, maybe finding love or finding life in something else. It might be music, whatever, an instrument. It doesn't have to be a man, That's just my take for Gizelle. Karen is very happy. I'm happy for Karen. Of course, Karen gets to talking about Gizelle and saying she's hoping that she and Gizelle can move forward. Giselle's like, Gizelle is so angry. You can see she's really, really upset with everybody. But she's forgotten the years she used to shade everybody and bring everybody's story on. And how she'll talk about Ray and his business and his penis and Karen's businesses and all of that. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Hopefully, Karen and Candice can get to a better place, with time. Monique is, in a good place as well, hoping, to get better. I'm happy for Monique that her contract has been renewed, because it would have been really upsetting if after this whole situation, Monique got cancelled. If Candice doesn't come back, I could care less. Quite frankly, I don't even need Candice back. It's alleged that Wendy might not come back, but I don't know if that is true. I don't know why they wouldn't bring Wendy back on. I would like to see Wendy, try and reach out to Monique. That'll probably be what I would like to see. Yeah. Who else? Robyn and her wedding. So hopefully that's going to happen in next season. But it would be nice. I would also like to see Sharisi back. Yeah. I'm ready for Miss Sharisi to come back and her mess, because that mess is always good. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to share, be sure to like, and let me know what you guys think. Bye.